Hey everybody, I hope you're doing real well today. Wanted to talk about something that is very, very inconvenient in truth seeking, which is that not every truther is going to agree on everything. I may agree with 80%, 90, maybe even 99%, but there's always one or two things I do not agree with. And that just tells me we're all individuals. We all have our own path, our own experiences and observations, which is going to create our worldview, and it can be a little bit different than others. There are some things that are frustrating and you wonder, why has that person not done the research, or you have not done research on things they know more about. And it'd be nice to share ideas and be open-minded instead of battling and fighting each other. That would be ideal. That doesn't always happen, of course. There are some things that are said, though, that I think are a little bit kind of go too far and can be a little bit, can be dangerous, can be a problem. And that could be that's this assumption there is a creator God or some sort of source that we all reunite with. Once we're out of here, that gets pushed a lot in this spiritual community. And I do not subscribe to that. It's a possibility, certainly. I'm not saying that it's not. I don't know what's ultimately true. But I would be careful if this in fact was a reincarnation soul trap that could very well be used against you. And you could be recycled right back into this place for another reincarnation. I think this is an individual journey. It is on you. It is nobody else. You are the one who has to free yourself. You are the one who has to save yourself. And that is very scary to people. That could be from a young age. As babies, we're being taken care of. We're being fed, changed. We need to have clothing, shelter, everything. Almost basically 24/7. We have to have eyes watching us at all time during the day until we grow old enough to where we can take care of ourselves. So from a very young age, we're putting the spirit's put into this body, not knowing where it is, not knowing what's going on, and has to give away its sovereignty to the ones that take care of us, parents and adults. So that could be very early programming, conditioning from a young age. I don't think there necessarily has to be a creator. I think that we are eternal. I believe that I am eternal. There was no beginning, no end. If there was a creator, it begs the question, what created that? And then what created the being that created the creator that created us spirits? And it's never ending, keeps going. Why doesn't it just stop with us? Why doesn't it just stop with our spirits? That we are the creators, that we are the beginning. Although I contradict myself, there was no beginning, but we have always been, I should say, always been. And there was no need for a creator. And that's what we've been programmed our entire lives, to have a creator, to have a God. Now this creator, let's just say there was one. There is one out there, a source. And basically, if it has empathy, it must not have much power because it cannot intervene and cannot help us here while we're here. At least anything we can understand. I think all of that is just us. Signs that we get, clues that we get here is coming from us. Some say it's our higher self. It's our inner selves, whatever. It is coming from you, not coming from something outside. Perhaps it is. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's not giving us information that we can really understand, and we don't have any memory of our past. And we're certainly not getting much help while we're here. It's really all on you as an individual. Now, the creator could be something that is like an AI. It's not, doesn't have any feelings, no empathy, but somehow was able to create empathetic, compassionate human beings. Spirits that became human beings in this realm. Now, I don't believe that that's possible really at all. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Is it on the table? I guess everything's on the table, but certain things are going to be kind of pushed aside a little bit with other things that will take its place that are a little bit more logical. So, I think it's something that can be used against you. So just be careful. Think about you being the one first. That needs to save yourself first and foremost. If you can get help, great. But I'm going to be skeptical. I'm going to be skeptical of anything that's trying to help me or, anything like that. Maybe when I get to that point, I'll really know for sure, what the truth is and that I can trust and that it's a like being, a like spirit that can help me. But I'm certainly gonna question it. Really, no matter what, I'm gonna question everything. And I think that's good. I think that's healthy. And it's not to say that there isn't something else out there. There could be. That's not where I'm leaning towards. I'm not going to assume it. I think the assumption, that's a problem. A lot of people in the spiritual community, not gurus, they don't consider themselves gurus, but when they're doing this, they're creating patterns, they're planting seeds into people that could really affect them negatively, subconsciously when they're out of body. So that's something to look out for sure. And then, a lot of people will say that they'll refer to this place as a planet. I know I've done a couple videos on that. That to me, it's a little concerning. I don't think they necessarily believe in that NASA is, it tells the truth and that space travel is real and that, space is what we're being told. I don't think they believe that, but somehow they still use the word planet, which is just more programming from the elites, from the top that have programmed us since birth. This word that we're pushing out there. Well, I'm not, but others push that word. They say the word and it just plants seeds. I think it's important to look at the globe with scrutiny. It's good to debunk it because it has been debunked. It's been completely debunked. The flat Earth map that goes around on the internet, the AE map, that also has been debunked. So they've both been debunked. And I look at the flat Earth as on the internet. Most people, like the gurus of flat Earth and such, that is controlled opposition. That's what I see that as. I don't know what the Earth is. I don't think it's a spinning ball in space, and nobody can explain how you are able to stand upside down. And nobody's been able to show me curving water. And yeah, I haven't seen any of the evidence for it. I've seen all evidence that we live on a plane, at least for what we can tell at this point. And many people don't think it matters. Okay, well, if it doesn't matter, stop using their words. Planet, use realm, use the world. You can say so many other things. You can say the earth. You can use so many other words and labels besides planet. Their words, the evil's words, the Masons' words. Don't like hearing that. That to me is cringe. Any truth channel, if I hear planet Earth, it is extremely cringe to me because there's so many other words you can use than their words. Another thing too is this, I think too many get obsessed with the material body as well. They talk about things like DNA, atoms, things that I can't prove, you can't prove. And, we just know what we know from what we are told, from the quote authorities. And then we can take that information and come up with theories as to how that fits into reality. I'm not against doing that. I think that's okay. I think some people go down that rabbit hole a little too far. I don't think I ultimately need to know how DNA works and what that's all about. I don't need to know how the prison was built. I don't need to know what they're doing behind the scenes to coordinate, what we get to do during the day, what food we're going to eat and all that stuff. Once I'm out, I'm out. I don't care how it works. Not at this time. I'm more focused on getting out. So going down those kind of rabbit holes, putting a lot of potentially, some of it, I'm not saying everybody does this. I think there's a lot of great, well-meaning, sincere, genuine spirits out there, but some people, they get a lot of just crap in their mind from this stuff, and it can just confuse and make things worse. They're also I'm humble enough and open enough to learn those things too. But how can it be proven? Has it been proven? I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear the thoughts on some of these YouTubers that will talk a lot about the material body, just a lot of things like that I think ultimately are not very important. But that's just me. So also this whole thing that, about not eating meat and that's better for your spirit. It's going to be better for your vibration, raise your vibration. I mean, once again, I was very open to that a few years ago. I went a couple years, mostly plant-based. I ate very little meat. So I was open to the idea, and I was really trying to wean myself off it and eat less and less. I'm not going to say I had any serious health problems, as I did not. Although now that I eat primarily meat, I feel a lot better. I don't have the symptoms I used to have. I don't get sore throats and runny noses as much. I hardly ever got sick anyway. I've been sick in a very long time, many, many years, about 5 years now. Whether I was eating mostly plants or meat has not made a difference. But on YouTube, you can go look it up on the internet. You can see people give their stories about why they left veganism, why they left vegetarianism. And they really went through a lot of health problems. A lot of people, you'll see them, like I said, use your discernment. Were they on drugs? I don't know, but losing teeth, hair, getting like this yellow tint to their skin. So you see a lot of that as well. But there's some really good, genuine stories out there as well. I mean, I know people in my life that gave up meat and they just went crazy and they had to go back to it. They just had to, and then they felt better. Their symptoms went away. No, I'm definitely not against anybody who, wants to stay away from meat and they feel guilty for eating it and things like that. I challenge them to look at things a little bit differently and do a little bit of research, because I don't believe that it is the proper human diet is eating primarily plants. I just don't. They're crossbred, they're GMO'd, they are man-made essentially so that you can digest them, so you can actually eat them. You can't just go out in nature and just start eating leaves and plants. It's not going to work out very well for you. I think you'd have to ferment them and stuff. It's a process. I think we are meant to eat meat. We were meant to eat animals. And that's been programmed out of us. I mean, look at the food pyramid. The food pyramid by your government in the United States, at least, and I'm sure many others in Europe and around the world, is not a meat-based diet. It is grains, it is plants at the bottom. The meat is at the very top. I think the food plate here in the United States that came out during the Obama administration doesn't even say meat at all. It just says protein. Like, they don't care where you get it from. It's all the same. You can get it from plants. I think that is completely wrong. The agenda has been to reduce the meat consumption in the U.S. and around the world for a very long time now, many decades. And as meat consumption has gone down, saturated fat consumption, sugar has gone up, disease has gone up, cancer, many different types of diseases. And just look at people today. Mental illness as well could be a cause of low saturated fat intake. So there's a lot of health issues, and creating more suffering for yourself is not going to make this a better experience here. And it's not going to make you more spiritual. It's not going to give you a better chance of getting out of here, in my opinion. It's fine to have compassion. It's fine to have empathy, I should say, for animals and care. That is fine. But we have to understand where we are, and that it is not your fault that you are here and you don't have any memory. That's not on you. We have to do the best we can while we are here. Now, on another note, these animals, would it be better off for them to just be out in the wild without humans intervening and eating them? Well, I don't think so either. I think it would be probably worse. And thinking about that is important as well. Thinking about what the alternative would be, being hunted out, preyed upon by predators, many of them being eaten alive and having these just horrific, just horrible deaths where they are not able to die instantly like humans do. Certainly not for factory farming or anything like that. But there are ones out there that are just against eating meat altogether because they think that it's a better life, I guess, in the wild for these animals who are, it's just complete hell. And that's why I do believe this is a hell realm. Many people want to stay away from that. I think it is. It's so many tricks, so many lies and deception, and so much that you don't even know you're in a hell realm. Nobody thinks they're in a hell realm. And that's what makes it hell realm. I think it'd be better to be in hell because at least I would know, everyone would know they were in hell and they could do something about it. That is part of the deception, to keep the beauty here, to keep it not looking 100% like hell. Keeps you away from what it really is, and you're not even thinking about it. If you're not going to think about it, if you don't know you're a slave, that makes the best slaves the ones that don't know they're a slave, and that's exactly what's happening here. So that's why I do think it is hell realm. Is it the worst hell that there could be? No, I don't necessarily think that. But let's call it for what it is. It is an absolute inverted, upside down, filled with lies reality. Now, what is that? Where we have to eat animals to survive. I know some say they don't have to, but that's on you. That's that's mind over matter. You can get away with it maybe with your mind for a while, but eventually it catches up with you. It has with many, many people. Just because you're not aware of what causes your disease doesn't mean that what's causing your disease isn't something that, let me back up a second. Just because, because a lot of people that are, vegetarians, vegans, they have like symptoms, they have some health problems, and they never attribute it to that. They never point it to that. So, because they're just in denial. And then this last thing I wanted to talk about real quickly is this whole thing about that we need each other. The more that I learn and the more I wake up, the less I feel I need others. Back to that, this is an individual's journey. I don't think I need other people. Ultimately, we can share ideas. It's great. You tell your story. It helps me to tell my story, to understand my story, to get new ideas and be able to, look back on things, say, hey, I think that's what happened there, by hearing new experiences. I think that's all just absolutely wonderful. But I mean, I don't want to be, when I was in quote NPC, when I was completely asleep, I wanted to be around people. I wanted the admiration. I wanted to have fun and talk. But as time's gone by, there's less and less people that I wanted, that I want to associate with like that. Only a select few that are like-minded. And I have less of a feeling that I need each other. Ultimately, it is up to you in the spiritual community. We can share ideas. We can help out. We're not going to agree on everything, but it is up to you in figuring out, what your destiny is going to be, and you putting the work in, and you ultimately saving yourself. So the moral of the whole story is basically to just think for yourself and be open to, like I am open to other people, even like vegetarian, vegan. Like I said, I used to be open to that stuff. I learned about it. I know a lot about the globe and everything they tell us about. I've done a lot of research on those things. And also the creator God idea as well. I do a lot of thinking about that stuff. So I am open to it, and I will continue to be. But ultimately, you got to think for yourself.